Okay, it's about 6:45 p.m. and I think this is going to be my last video for the day. I want to save time to go for a walk this evening. I got my boot off my foot, so the last couple of days I'm back to doing my 4-mile walk every day. It's been really, really good for my mental health. But I wanted to take a second here and talk about a concept that I really struggle with. I'm having a hard time understanding how it is something that people fall for or embrace, and that's the concept of post-truth politics. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that term. Like I have a hard time understanding what is considered a lie and what is considered post-truth. And I keep getting comments on my YouTube videos lately that are like, oh yeah, here's another example of how Trump practices post-truth politics. And so I've been doing quite a bit of reading on this subject because, I'm not like somebody who's well-versed in philosophy. I'm not a poli-sci expert by any means. I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. And so in all of my reading, I found one article that I thought was particularly helpful for lay people like me, and maybe it will be helpful for you as well. It was published back in January of 2020. And even if it's more than 5 years old, it is just as relevant now as it was then. The piece is entitled, "What's the Difference Between Lies and Post-Truth in Politics? A Philosopher Explains." It's by Vittorio Bufacci, who is in the Department of Philosophy at the University College Cork. If I wrote the first sentence in this article is a lie, is that sentence true or is it a lie? And if a liar declares, "I am lying," is that liar telling the truth? In philosophy and logic, this is known as the liar's paradox. The liar is a liar, and if the liar is indeed lying, then the liar is telling the truth, which means the liar just lied. Lies are part of the DNA of modern society, though we often refer to them with more dignified terminology like marketing, advertising, propaganda, or spin. From unscrupulous sellers of used cars to prime ministers making unsubstantiated declarations about weapons of mass destruction, it seems that many people know how to make their living from lies. In the public imagination, politicians are professional liars par excellence. Or as the writer George Orwell put it, political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable. In her essay, Truth in Politics, published in The New Yorker in 1967, the philosopher Hannah Arendt was already lamenting the fact that politics and truth don't mix. But even Arendt was aware that not all lies are the same. There are lies that are minimal forms of deception, a micro tear in the fabric of reality, while some lies are so big that they require a complete rearrangement of the whole factual texture, a shift to another reality. In today's terminology, she was alerting us to the difference between a lie and the 2016 Oxford Dictionary's word of the year, post-truth. One way to understand the difference between lies and post-truth, which the author has written about, is that a liar denies specific facts that have precise coordinates in space and time, whereas post-truth questions the very nature of truth itself. A liar knows the truth, and by trying to persuade us of an alternative narrative, a liar is paradoxically honoring the truth, whereas post-truth allows no last refuge for the truth at all. Let's look at Clinton versus Trump. The distinction between a lie and post-truth becomes more clear when you compare two recent American presidents, Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. At a White House press conference on January 26, 1998, Clinton famously said, "I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody a lie, not a single time, never." Clinton's statement, given the subsequent revelations about the stained blue dress, is disconcerting. It's possible that Clinton did not consider his intimate interactions with Lewinsky as a sexual relation, but that's highly unlikely. It would require a phenomenal effort of self-deception or ingenuity to defend that position with honesty and integrity. Clinton was impeached for perjury and obstruction of justice because he lied under oath, but he was ultimately acquitted in the Senate trial. Clinton lied, and that was inexcusable, but Trump's relationship with the truth is even more disturbing and more dangerous. Trump's incessant accusations of fake news against main media outlets, including the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, reflects a long-standing disdain for the truth. Right, very similar to how he uses the terms witch hunt and hoax as well. I mean, we could also talk about since 2020 that the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos, is now a propaganda tool for Trump promoting his fascist agenda. And frankly, so is CNN. But let's get back to the article. Unlike Clinton, Trump is not simply denying certain facts. Instead, he is determined to undermine the theoretical infrastructure that makes it possible to have a conversation about the truth at all. Trump's response and demeanor to the impeachment allegations made against him is a typical example of post-truth. By spurning the impeachment proceedings as a charade and a witch hunt, his strategy is to create an environment where objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion, where theoretical frameworks necessary to make sense of certain events are scorned, where scientific truth is delegitimized. And I'd just like to point out that on August 1st, Donald Trump had the Smithsonian Institution remove his 2 impeachments, the only president who's been impeached twice in our entire history. He made the Smithsonian Institution remove his 2 impeachments from their exhibit on presidents who have been impeached. He is trying to erase history, to rewrite history. This is full-blown fascist shit. But it's also post-truth politics. It is making it impossible for us to have a conversation about the truth at all. And this is the major difference between a lie and post-truth. A lie subverts a specific truth, but post-truth tries to subvert truth itself. Trump's abhorrence of truth is reflective in the remarkable claim by one of his lawyers, Rudy Giuliani, that truth is relative. Giuliani had raised concerns about Trump's potential to perjure himself in the Russia investigation because he said, quote, "Truth isn't truth." That encapsulates post-truth politics for you. Post-truth is a murky concept, but it should not be confused with a lie. Post-truth is much more devious and dangerous to the democratic fabric of our society. The prefix post in post-truth refers to the claim that a specific idea has become redundant and therefore can be discarded. Post-truth is the belief that truth is no longer essential and the truth has become obsolete. Again, back in 2020, the author ended this article by saying, "We can cope with politicians lying, but we cannot afford the risk of allowing politicians to delegitimize truth." And in 2025, United States of America, what do we have? We have a president, we have a Republican Party who is wholly uncoupled from the truth. They have done an incredibly effective job at delegitimizing the truth, of using post-truth politics effectively to propagandize their base, to bring about the ascension of fascism in this country. We could not afford, our democracy could not afford somebody back in the White House who was operating on post-truth politics, who was determined to delegitimize truth. And yet, what have we got now? What have we got? I think it's really important for all of us to understand better what post-truth politics is, why it's so dangerous, why Trump is utilizing it to destroy our democracy and institute authoritarianism. The question is, how do we combat it? How do we get back to a place where we all have a shared understanding of reality and we all are willing to accept that some things are truth and some things are lies?